Adventurous kids explore with education and learning what a wild life is in the Everglades. I want to explore the Museum of Discovering Science. What plants do butterflies like? I want to know about Key West. Adventurous kids, learning and fun. Adventurous kids!
Today I'm going to tell you about clocks. A clock can be defined as a device that tells time. The term clock has been derived from the Dutch word klok. Thomas Nash was the first clockmaker of America in records. There are various types of clocks, which include the analog clock, digital clock, sundial, sand glass, etc. Sundials are used to tell time before the invention of mechanical clocks. The earliest use of sundial dates back to 1500 BCE. An institution in Colorado created a clock that is used for internet time. It is so accurate that it will not lose or gain a second in even 20 million years. The clock is one of the oldest human inventions, meeting the need to consistently measure intervals of time shorter than the natural units, the day, the lunar month, and the year. Devices operating on several physical processes have been used over the millennia. The oldest clock in the world was created in the year 1386. It is located in Salisbury, England. World's first minute hand was invented by a mathematician and Swiss clockmaker George Burgui in the year 1577. The first ever mechanical alarm clock was invented in the year 1787 by clockmaker Levi Haxnens. Christian Huygens is credited with the invention of the pendulum clock in 1656. The term o'clock came into use in the early 18th. It is an abbreviation of the clock. Old penny coins are used to keep London's Big Ben clock. In the present time, telephone companies do have their own automatic clocks to keep their computers in sync with each other. Early clocks had only a single hand to mark the hour. They were not accurate enough to need a minute hand. Minute hands appeared on clocks around the mid-1400s. The apparent position of the sun in the sky moves over the course of a day, reflecting the rotation of the earth. Shadows cast by stationary objects move correspondingly, so their positions can be used to indicate the time of day. A sundial shows the time by displaying the position of a shadow on a usually flat surface, which has markings that correspond to the hours. Sundials were widely used in ancient times. The ancient Egyptian astronomers almost certainly used obelisks, tall, skinny, four-sided stone monuments with a small pyramid on the top, as sundials around 5,500 years ago. Analog clocks use angles to tell time. They have hands that rotate around the clock's face. The position of the hand shows the time. The face of the clock is a flat disc. It will often have the numbers 1 through 12 on the face to make it easier to read. Analog clocks commonly have 2 or 3 hands. If it has 2, there is a large hand or minute hand and a smaller hand, the hour hand. Clocks with 3 hands also have a second hand. This hand is usually about as long as the minute hand, but much thinner. Digital clocks use numbers to show the time. LCDs and LEDs are common for digital clocks. Unlike analog clocks, which are based on 12 hours, digital clocks can use either a 12-hour clock, often with AM for morning and PM for afternoon and night, or a 24-hour clock. There are also clocks that use sound, usually along with a dial or some other means to show the time. The sound could be as simple as a bell or so complex that it sounds the same as a person. Many clocks that do this are old and are driven by springs or weights rather than batteries or other forms of electric power. Some special clocks are often used by people who are blind or cannot see well enough to read an analog or digital clock. They can also be used by people with mental problems that cause them to be unable to read other clocks. In China, if you gift a clock to someone, that it signifies the end of the relationship or even end of the receiver's life. A clock is one of their unlucky objects. A grandfather clock is a tall clock that stands on the floor. It uses a pendulum to tell time. Thanks for watching this Adventurous Kids episode.
What did you learn today?
Adventurous Kids!
Adventurous Kids!
What was the most interesting fact?
Adventurous Kids!
Adventurous Kids!
Adventurous